Hello and welcome to Canada Footy TV. My name is Ryan May here with CFTV's El Salvador Canada Match Build-Up Show. I'm joined by one of my partners in crime and footy, Samir Moneyline Murji. What's good, bud?
What's good, Ryan? What's good? No complaints here. It's a beautiful day in Toronto. A little cold, but I'm happy.
Okay,
we're playing tomorrow.
Canada are playing tomorrow. That is correct, and that is why we are here. We're going to revisit that money line part a little later on, Samir. Joining Samir and I today, we have our good friend Adam Zuccala. Being a Bayern fan in Canada, he might just be Fonzie's biggest fan. Can you confirm this, Zook?
I can confirm. My first Bayern shirt was Alphonso Davies' kit, so I can't confirm that.
A proper Canadian Bayern Munich fan. And last but not least, one of the most passionate fans north of the border, maybe even in the entire human race. Jonah likes multiple sports teams per league because he's just that much of a hype man. Acheson! Can you confirm, Jonah, for us right now that your only national team is Canada?
I think everybody can breathe a sigh of relief that, yes, Canada is my only national team. Although, shout out to Ireland.
Always gotta have one.
My roots, baby. My roots.
Okay, and running the show from behind the scenes, we got some Rayn Rashid in the forecast. What's up, bud? Okay, so Canada's currently first in the 8-team final CONCACAF qualifying group, or the Ocho, as it's so affectionately named. 4 points up on the United States and Mexico, and more importantly, 5 points up on Panama, and 9 on Costa Rica. Canada are in control of their own destiny on the road to the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. So, boys, I'm going to go one by one. In one word, describe your feelings towards this national team right now. Samir.
Elated.
Adam.
I gotta go exciting.
Jonah.
Jacked.
And my word is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Use that big word, baby.
Okay, my next question, before we jump into the real stuff. If you could take those beautiful men from that Canada-USA match out for dinner, post-match, El Salvador, who are you taking and where are you going,
If
Jonah?
you guys take an American, I'm going to freak out.
That was not an option, actually.
I really hope that's not an option. For me, I think I'm going out with Milan Borjan. Take me to some natural old Yugoslavian cuisine restaurant.
Ooh, I'm sure Borjan's going to love that.
If he knows his way around Toronto, or honestly,
He's from Hamilton. He might know his way around Toronto.
If the guy knows a good Yugoslavian restaurant, by all means, that's where I'm going.
Okay, and so if any of you guys listening know a good Yugoslavian restaurant in Toronto, because I'm pretty sure Milan Borjan might be like coming up short on that one there. We're gonna need Jonah's gonna need that. Samir,
give me some of that.
I'm taking Jonathan Azario. I gotta take him to the keg. We're gonna have some nice steaks. Have a great dinner. I mean, the homeboy, Toronto-grown TFC player. I've loved him. I mean, he has his ups and downs. He's definitely not the most consistent player on the
No,
team.
he is not.
But I've always loved him, and I've always supported him. And hey, he had a great game last time out, and I want to reward him by taking
with a
him to
beautiful
the keg.
steak.
Beautiful cakes. I'll tell you what, those are some nice ones. For me, I gotta go with the guy who iced the game, Sam Adekubi. He worked his butt off. And the final couple minutes, like you could see, like how tired he was. I mean, everyone on the lineup was just tired in those last 10 minutes. But oh my lord, Adekube was just like, he looked like he was about to come out of his skin. Just how tired he was. For me, you know what? Big dog's got to eat. Taking him to Five Guys, get a nice burger. So there you go. Yeah.
Okay, I am thinking, because none of you guys have decided to take him out yet, I'm gonna take our captain. Tiba Hutchinson out for dinner. I wanna sort of discuss with him about that 8-1 loss against Honduras.
I want to talk about that.
Because I want to sort of get into his mind frame. Think about where he came from with this Canadian national team and where we are now. I think I would have a beautiful dinner with him. And you know what? We're going to get some barbecue because who doesn't love barbecue? Okay, so that win against the U.S. was the first time since 1980 that Canada has defeated them in World Cup qualifying. Over 40 years of demons were exercised on that cold January Sunday in Hamilton. Although any of the fans who attended Alphonso Davies' homecoming at the Estadio Cuscatlan in Edmonton, there's no chance they agree with my analysis of that temperature. There is no chance. We were outside the match post-game waiting for the players to come out, and we were speaking, Samir and I, we were speaking to a couple guys who had been at the game in Calgary, in Edmonton, and they were absolutely thrilled to be in our lovely warm weather in Toronto.
Yeah, they were standing out there and they looked at us like, this is nothing. You should have seen Edmonton.
Yeah, I've never felt softer in my life standing next to those guys.
Warm. Please, one more time. Warm.
Warm.
It was, what was it, minus 27 that day?
Yeah.
It was chilly. Not to mention, you got some wind coming off the lake in Hamilton. That's not a fun atmosphere. And to say that, and then it was what, minus 40 something in Edmonton?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. That stadium in Hamilton was cold as well, though. It was like, it's wide open. There's no stand on the north or south. There's no stand on the ends of the stadium. So it's kind of just wide open to the wind, and if you're inside of there, you got to be prepped.
Either side.
So, 10 matches into the Ocho. 4 remain. On Wednesday night, Canada can clinch a spot in Qatar in the World Cup. But the following needs to happen, and this is all thanks to the wonderful Christian Jack. So, a Canada win away at El Salvador, the current focus of this podcast. A USA loss at home to Honduras. A Panama loss away to Mexico. And a Costa Rica loss or draw away to Jamaica. Is it happening? Is it happening tomorrow?
So you're saying there's a chance, eh? A lot has to go Canada's way, especially Honduras going into... Where are they playing? They're playing in St. Paul?
St. Paul, Minnesota.
St. Paul, Minnesota. They're going into play.
Yikes.
You're talking Honduras has to play the game of their lives.
And they're already eliminated.
They still haven't won a game yet. And we're talking about they have to beat the United States in St. Paul where it's going to be freezing. So I'm going to say, even though there is a very minuscule chance it's not happening tomorrow, but next time, game 11, who do they play in their first game back from the break?
So right after the break, they are playing Costa Rica, and then they have Jamaica, and then Panama is the final match of that set.
I think the game against Costa Rica is where they book their ticket. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but I think the game against Costa Rica is where they get it done.
Well, I'm glad you went there before I did, because I was just about to jump in and be like, there's no chance we qualify tomorrow. I mean, like, it's a minuscule chance, sure, but you're saying losing at home to Honduras?
Yeah.
Panama loss to Mexico is doable, but I don't think Costa Rica is going to lose or draw to Jamaica. I mean, Jamaica's been stinking up the table. They have one win.
They've been in trouble.
Yeah, and they've been letting in a lot of goals, while Costa Rica, surprisingly, has actually been one of the better teams defensively in this table. So I mean, I don't see it happening tomorrow, but as we mentioned when we first started this conversation today, it's coming.
Yeah. No, to continue on with the trend of it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. I would love for it to happen.
It would be spectacular.
I would love for it to happen, but I just can't. Again, with the U.S. thing, if they lose to Honduras at home, God, they're in trouble.
This would be a miracle qualification.
Does it even matter, though?
Oh, no, not at all. Not even a little bit.
Tomorrow
Canada gets one win out of their last 4 games, right?
That's it.
There's no way we don't get a win in 4 games against El Salvador, Costa Rica, Jamaica, and Panama. There's no way.
Especially Jamaica at home. And as you said, Samir, they have been giving up a lot of goals and stinking up the table. They could feast.
Yeah.
Canada could feast.
I will say this, though. I'd like not to bring on any shadow, but that game against Panama at the end, Canada have better qualified by that time, which I believe they will be.
Yeah.
Because that game in Panama could be crazy. If on by any means, which I doubt it, if they're not qualified yet, that game could be crazy.
But, I mean, we've seen this same Canadian squad beat Mexico, beat USA now. There's something different in the air.
There definitely is.
They're so much better. They believe. You can see them, the belief in them. The way they play. They're confident on the field. And Canada's... They're going to qualify.
Where is
I think it's going
they
to
are.
Panama.
They are.
Now, you mentioned the belief. Where has that belief come from? Where did it originate? How did they find themselves in this position?
I think it was that game in Mexico. The 1-1 draw in Mexico. Or you can even go back to the Gold Cup and all that. But I think for the qualifying, that draw in Mexico.
It gave them that sort of, we can do this.
Yeah, I think so. Because obviously you went into Estadio Azteca, not the Azteca, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And you drew against Mexico, where you haven't had great results in a very long time. And I would consider that a great result, a draw in Mexico, right? So I think that was, during the qualifying, you could say that was the game where they said, hey, you know what, we could do this. They went out, they kicked Panama's butt. Then they also, iced Teco that game too, and then just against the U.S. I think that game against Mexico was a crucial one.
And then they rolled into, I think it actually started in that game against in Nashville, where they rolled in and they pulled away with a 1-1 draw, but they came out of that feeling like they could have won that game. And it's a sort of just flip in mentality that you've never seen out of Canadian soccer, ever.
It's not satisfied with the draw.
Yeah.
And that's something that we have never seen from the national team. We've seen it from Toronto FC. You're not satisfied with a draw. Went on to have the best season in MLS history. You've seen that from teams in even the CPL with Forge FC making it to the semifinal in the CONCACAF Champions League. But we haven't seen it from the national team until that game at Nissan Stadium in Nashville. They did what they had to do in those 2 games, and since then, I believe they're on a 5-game winning streak.
Yes.
See,
that is correct.
While I agree with you guys that those were definitely turning points in this Canadian team's mentality, I do want to point out that they only had 1 win in the World Cup qualifying. Even up until that point, you guys are all talking about. Their second win came against Panama.
Yeah.
And that game, I know you guys remember that
we
game.
all remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
All of us have a smile.
Alfonso's goal was heard all around the world.
I think that you might be right.
And I think that was the turning point for this team, because that proves to them that they can stomp on teams. It proves to them that they can run riot when they want to. They have the star player that they can turn to in situations where nothing's going well, and he can create something out of nothing in Alphonso Davies. Mm-hmm. And they haven't looked back since. I mean, they won 3 off the trot, 4, 5 off the trot since then?
Yeah.
Yes. Not only that, undefeated in World Cup qualifying, 6 wins, 4 draws, 17 goals scored forward for this Canada team.
This is a crazy attacking team.
That's
unbelievable.
In our lifetime, guys, we have never seen a Canadian team do this, right?
Yeah,
we always see them
never.
play for the result. We always see them play for a draw or grind out a 1-0 win, if even. We barely saw wins, and now we're seeing. Sorry to stop for 1 second, but the difference we're seeing in the attacking prowess of this team, it's amazing. It's actually amazing. As a soccer fan, as someone who wants to see exciting attacking soccer, and I was going to say football, but soccer.
It's footy. We are on Canada Footy TV, Samir. It's footy, buddy.
Yeah.
It's both.
As someone who watches the top leagues in the world, like the English Premier League.
And let me hit you with a beautiful, beautiful stat to complement that, Samir. In 2021, Canada scored more goals than every other national team in the world.
Yeah.
Which is absurd, seeing as, what was it? Didn't England beat San Marino 10-0?
That happened. Yes.
That happened in 1 game, and Canada still scored more goals than them in 2021.
So 2021 was a huge turning point for this Canadian national team, but to go back, sorry, I got super on a tangent there, but to go back to answering your question, Ryan, I see that game against Panama, October 13th, 2021, as the turning point for this team. They haven't lost, they haven't dropped a result since then. And they've looked convincing in every single one.
Not just that. Since that game, they've conceded 1 goal in 4 matches. That's astounding, especially for a team that used to be known for not really being able to hold the fort defensively. Especially in that Gold Cup where they dropped that game to Mexico. They couldn't hold the fort, and they lost because of it. And now, all of a sudden, defensive powerhouse as well.
And what makes that stat even more damning, the 1 goal that they allowed, it was in garbage time against Mexico in the 90s.
It was.
Yeah.
The game was Canada were running away with it, and Mexico just happened to sort of fight their way back in for a final 5 minutes.
Regardless, like Canada was up 2-0.
We can credit Milan Borjan over and over. The man with the sweatpants is the most wonderful keeper in international footy right now.
You know what? Keep the sweatpants. Keep them into Qatar. That might be a little too sweaty, but like, at the same
there's
time,
a
like,
reason.
It's a style.
There's a reason why the World Cup is in November and December. I don't think the sweatpants would be it.
Qatar's gonna be hot.
It's gonna
be hot.
And we're gonna be there.
Here we are.
Okay. So that Canada-Panama game, I actually think my opinion's been changed. I actually do think that was the turning point. But was it your moment of the qualifiers, Samir?
That goal?
That yes. Alphonso Davies goal. Because it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
For me, the moment of the qualifiers was when Kyle Larin scores the second goal against Mexico and jumps into the snow and creates one of the most iconic images in Canadian sports history.
That is going to be if Canada qualifies for this World Cup, which I think we're all in agreement that Canada will qualify.
Same with the odds, 99.5%.
99%. Yeah, they qualify. They qualify. That is quite possibly one of the greatest moments in Canadian sport ever.
I agree with you.
Yeah, spit it out, buddy.
I can't. I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, but no, I completely agree with you. That picture and that video of Sam Adekupe jumping into that snowbank on that freezing night in Edmonton. No boy.
I will say though, Borjan's save against Mexico as well when it was 2-1 on the goal line. You know what? Just pick any Borjan save.
They don't beat the USA if Borjan doesn't make that save on Sunday.
That's a whole different game. If that
the US were starting to pressure the game. The tide was turning, and Borjan stepped in and completely put the whole country on his back. I'm going to bring us back to earth a little bit, sort of talk a little bit more about this game coming up tomorrow at the Estadio Cuscatlan. I am sorry for my absolute butchering of that name. I will do better. I promise. That game's taking place in San Salvador, El Salvador, and it's going to be a hostile environment for the Reds. It's not a fun place to play. Head coach John Herdman was sort of talking about this in his post-match after the U.S., and I'm just going to read you his quotes. He said, "We talked about that and the focus of the energy in the training session on Tuesday and setting the tone. There's the reality of going into a real CONCACAF experience. Every game El Salvador is played at home. They have a packed house. They're fighting for their lives. They're the underdogs, and we know that they never surrendered the shirt in that stadium." So, my question is this squad starting to move past those jitters? Does that even matter anymore?
No.
What I was trying to say while you were talking there was my bad, but I was saying bring it on. I mean, those who know me, you guys know I'm a pretty pessimistic fan. I am about all the teams I follow.
Guy's a Man City fan and is always.
Oh, we won't talk about that right now. We're on Canada Footy TV. Anyways, and heading into the Honduras match, I was so pessimistic. I was like bringing up all these stats of why Canada might not win this game, or like why we're gonna struggle, and
then the same in the U.S. match, buddy. Don't let yourself off the hook.
No, for sure. And Ryan looked at me and he's like, "Bro, just shut up. They're gonna do that's straight up what he said. They're a different team. They're so much more confident. And the team that I'm talking about that lost to Honduras was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
there's no
it's
comparison.
2022. I gotta live in the moment. And bring them on. Bring El Salvador on. Those fans can't do anything if Honduras didn't face this Canadian team.
Think about how old some of the players were during that 8-1 loss to Honduras. How many of them were over the age of 18? Borjan, Atiba Hutchinson.
Borjan was on the bench.
That's basically it. And everybody else was in their teenage years. They don't care.
They don't even know.
Do you think they think about that moment and it's like, oh man, we should have beat Honduras that day. I guess we can't win now. No. These guys are way more confident than that. This team right now is exuding confidence I have never seen before. And They're young adults, teenagers even, some of them. They don't care.
No.
It's a really good point. They are exuding so much confidence, and that's actually why I kind of want to ask you, Adam. So both these teams prefer to play without the ball. Do you want to see Canada sort of take this game by the scruff of the neck this time?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love it. Shove the sword down their throat is what they would say. Well, I mean, not like that, but like, I'm like, if Canada can just control this game, have most of the possession, like, everyone would love that, right? And the thing I'd like to say about the Canadian team, obviously, besides the Panama game and their last four wins, they've scored first, and especially look in the Mexico game, in the Honduras game, and USA game, especially USA game, scored first. And early and often.
Early, yeah, and that's the key,
I
right?
think, yeah, exactly. We're talking about how crazy it's going to be in El Salvador. I'm telling you this right now. If Canada can get a goal within the first 15, 20 minutes, shut them up. Shut them up, sit them down, and just take control. Grab the ball and just hold possession the entire way. I mean, that's not is that possible? Probably not.
100% possession.
100% possession?
Just
might
play
not
back
be
to the
possible.
defenders all
Yeah,
the
just
time.
like a...
But I'm going to say this. If you get a goal early, hold on to the ball most of the game, you're looking pretty good. Maybe add 5 other goals, but I don't know. That's just me.
Add up
That's
5 other goals.
That's just
Yeah.
me being a bit optimistic.
This may surprise you based off of the conversation we're having in the possession, and we're saying Canada needs to keep a hold of the ball.
Mhm.
But the last time these two teams played on September 8th, it was in Canada, BMO Field, and Canada won 3-0, but they only had 41% possession
Yeah.
in that game. So I don't
Yeah.
think they don't have to have more possession in tomorrow's game. They just need to utilize it better.
Well, they
than
never
the other
have to have more possession
No.
because they have so much speed on the flanks and they have so much attacking prowess like through the center. So they never really need to. It's more about it's more about a mentality. Like when you look at teams like England, teams like Germany, teams like Spain, they don't go in and sit back. They aren't built to do that. While Canada is, maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but I genuinely believe that the talent in this team is up there in the top 25 in the world.
You know, I like to say with the possession, it doesn't matter how much time you have with the ball. It's what you do with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, how many shots do they have in the Honduras game?
In the Honduras game, they have 41% possession, but they had 14 shots, 5 on target.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Next to El Salvador, who got 0 shots on target.
And that counter-attacking style that Canada has is
Oh.
terrifying.
Yeah.
If you're a defender and you see one of Kyle Larin, Jonathan David, Alphonso Davies, or Lucas Cavallini running at you full speed with a ball in the air, what are you thinking? Because
Shit.
yeah, exactly. You will not know what to do because they're so fast, and when they get the ball, like that touch from Jonathan David on that goal in El Salvador.
Honduras.
Or in Honduras, pardon me. Chest, head, foot, back of the net. Without even slight hesitation. That's on a counterattack.
Mm-hmm.
And Canada does that better than anyone that I've seen play this year. And to be able to do that effectively with top scorers is unmatched for me in CONCACAF especially.
Well, even that Kyle Larin goal against the US, the first one.
Yeah, that was nice
It's
too.
just, obviously, I guess you could call it a counterattack.
It was a counterattack. They were penned in their own half.
What, pass in goal?
Yeah.
So I don't know how many passes.
Passing
there were.
was great
But
too.
it was
A number of passes.
it was tic-tac-toe, bang.
I think it was tic-tac-toe, tic-tac-toe, tic-tac-toe.
Yeah, or whatever the
So
heck it
many.
was. Anyway, so point being, right, the counterattacks for Canada has just been insane.
And Ryan, you touched on it when you were talking about Canada being top 25 talent and the way they're playing and sitting back, etc., compared to other teams. It's kind of what I like about this Canadian team. Like, they know their identity. And Herdman's got them playing in a way that no matter who they play, whether it's a Giant or whether it's El Salvador, they're going to play to their style. They're going to play their way. And that's how you win soccer games. That's how winning teams are made. They find a system, they find their style of play based off the players they have, and they grind out the wins. And so this low possession style that we're seeing from Canada will benefit them when they qualify to Qatar and they're playing against the giants of the world.
And the giants of the world always struggle when they don't have an identity.
Exactly.
When they play their best players and they just try and go out there and outskill the other team. It doesn't always work.
Mexico.
Or check Germany for the past 8 years.
Yeah.
Literally, just like
or England in every major tournament.
Yeah.
Their identity is their identity. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take that back. England actually do have an identity. It tends to be quite negative tactically, but it is an identity. Okay, so just before we sort of start to head off here, there's a couple starting 11 notes I want to get to. So Steven Estacio, he was not available for the first 2 matches of this international break. If he is fit, do you start him?
Sorry, Jonah. I would put him on the bench. Maybe an early sub, but I don't think start.
Yeah, I'm thinking early second half sub, probably 48th, 49th minute. You get him in, you get him some touches, but to start him coming off an injury right away, just drop him right into the fire, I don't think that's safe for him or smart for Canada.
Okay, let me thicken the plot. Canada have 9 players on a yellow. One more and they miss the next match. So this is the reason for Hutchinson's absence against the USA. It wasn't widely reported. It was a kind of off-the-record, weird yellow card that happened.
It went rogue.
Yeah, it went rogue, honestly.
It went rogue, yeah.
So just some of these names on a yellow are quite concerning. Sam Adekugbe, Tajon Buchanan, Liam Fraser, Steven Estacio himself, Lucas Cavallini, Richie Larea, Daniel Henry, Mark Anthony Kay, and Sam Piet. So that's a huge number of their squad players. Should these guys be concerned about these yellow cards, or is it just pedal to the metal and deal with it next international break?
I think they should rotate. I believe that you should be concerned about these yellow cards because you look at El Salvador as one of the weaker teams in the division, and you're expecting a win. But you don't want to force it because you do have 3 more games after. And if Canada just has to win one of them, having their full squad against Costa Rica, Jamaica, and Panama are going to be huge.
Yeah, and see, that's what I would be worried about, though. Because if you are Canada and you still have 9 players on yellow cards going into that game against Costa Rica, then maybe you start to get concerned as you go into the games against Jamaica and against Panama, where you don't have that full roster of players because 2 of them get yellows against Jamaica at home, or one of them gets a yellow against Costa Rica on the road, because then you don't have them for those big matches if they're going to be those big matches. So what I would say, the only player I think I'm worried about a little bit is Tajon Buchanan, because over the last few games, he has played aggressively on both ends of the pitch, and that's led to him getting some fouls that it could go either way, but mostly have gone against him. And if you're looking for something to be wary about, that might be it going into a game against El Salvador, who has played aggressive despite not doing so well in the tournament, that you might look at it and say, oh, maybe we should ease back on him or tell him, hey, lighten up a little bit, play a little bit with less of an edge, or maybe you don't because he's just that good that way.
Personally, I think you just let him play, to be honest. Yes, obviously you run the danger of that, but
he's young.
Very.
He's potentially he's one moment away from missing a potentially important game. As John Herdman pointed out, you're 1 loss away from being back in the fight.
Yeah,
it's really close.
Okay, maybe not more. Like the Buchanan thing is one thing, but it's a really tough thing to talk about. But personally, I'd just say if unless they all get another yellow, holy crap, then I'd
all 9 yellows.
I swear on my life, if there's 9 yellows and all of them, okay, Jesus.
Maybe that's gamesmanship, man.
Maybe, but if there's 1 or 2, man, yes, Buchanan, but if there's 1 or 2, I'm on the edge. I'm on the fence off that one, really. I don't know if I should say, let them play, or if I should say, well, maybe they should, put a yield on the leash or something. I don't know.
So, Canada have run a 3-4-3 in both of these 2 games. Pretty standard. Generally seems to be what they stick with. Borjan has started both. Johnston played in both games. Victoria played in the first one. Kennedy played in the first one. Hoylett played in the first one. And the second one, they were replaced by Anthony Kay, Osorio, Richie Larea, and Hutchinson played in that first one, and he was replaced by Miller. So the front three stayed the same. Do you guys think the front three is going to stick the same for this game today? Tajon Buchanan, Kyle Larin, and Jonathan David.
Minus Buchanan, maybe because of the yellow card.
Yeah.
I do see the other two staying in the lineup for sure.
And so what would you do instead of Buchanan?
But I was just about to lean the other way and say, like, how do you separate them right now? The chemistry is just blossoming. You should have seen, everyone did see the hold-up play that was going on against America, and that was an amazing step that these young forwards are taking. So, like, they're building their chemistry, they're playing better together. Why separate them now when it's an important game? I mean, I guess I am kind of on the fence here.
See, I want to be careful with that too, right? Because your replacements for him, it's either, really for Buchanan, it's either put Jonathan Osorio in his spot or you put in Lucas Cavallini. And Cavallini's on the one yellow already, right? So you got to be careful with him.
It's a like for like.
However, I think probably they stay the same because those three guys together have a budding chemistry that's not replicated with Cavallini or with Osorio. They're good players, don't get me wrong, but the three guys, Buchanan, David, and Larin, are so good with each other, I don't think there's going to be a change.
Yeah, I'm going to go the same. You run the risk, obviously, with Buchanan with the yellow. But again, remember when people said that David and Larin couldn't play with each other?
Yeah, that
And
people
now
said
look
that.
at that, right? So,
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys, we ran out of time, but I was going to ask you guys about the Kyle Larin, Jonathan David partnership. I think we're all pretty much in agreement they can play together now.
Definitely.
They play really well together, too.
They have this wonderful chemistry. They know where each other are. One of them is more further advanced, and the other one drops back. It's really, really nice to see. It's really fluid. So we're sticking with the same front three for our prediction all across the board. Atiba Hutchinson, does he come back in?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, well that was resounding.
In a
Plain
must-win
and
game, he's coming back in.
100%.
That's almost why they rested him last game.
That's your
right?
captain.
Other than that yellow card.
That's your
But
captain.
that's what I mean. Like, they
Damn it.
risked it for that game so that they could have him back in a different country leading the troops.
Okay, and back three ran Johnston, Victoria, and Kennedy. And in the second game, Miller, Victoria, and Johnston. I honestly think it's a toss-up, really. It doesn't...
You don't have Victoria because...
Oh, Victoria is actually
Victoria
suspended.
is
That's actually a good
because
point.
he did get that second yellow, right? So he's out. Who do you put in his place?
Miller.
Come on, Miller.
Yeah.
I don't think you have really a choice. There's not a whole... We're not blessed with riches. We have a quality defense, a quality attack, and a decent midfield. And that's about where we're at. Maybe we have a better than quality attack. Maybe we have an elite attack. But I
Careful
think...
with that bench. Got to be careful with the bench.
Yeah, you definitely do. Okay, well, that's basically it from me. Anybody with anything pressing they would like to hit us with, any beautiful stats from these beautiful people? No?
Dude, I
Okay.
usually have stats. Not
Canada's
for
gonna
this
win.
because I'm just so blinded by the fact that Canada's going to the World Cup.
El Salvador, Canada, 9 p.m., Wednesday night.